8 years in the NFL. Retired a couple years ago, 5 years ago. He's our friend, Fox Sports analyst, former NFL offensive lineman Geoff Schwartz is joining us live. Well, first of all, I don't think we're going to talk about Baker Mayfield much this year or much anymore because they're not a very good team. But it does look like he won the starting job. Does it surprise you how quickly he did win it? It surprised me.
It didn't surprise me. I don't think they traded for him to have Sam Darnold play quarterback. I will tell you this, Colin. Comeback player of the year for Baker Mayfield, I think, is really in play here. You talk about the sentimental factor of the voters in this award, right? It's often obviously about stats. And if he plays his average season, let's take his season 2 years ago, right? 3,600 yards. I think it was like 25 touchdowns, 10 interceptions, completed 63% of his passes. They were a playoff team. Like, if he's somewhere in that range, he's going to win comeback player of the year, right? There's a lot of people who are going to root for him in this situation. A revival. The Browns chose Deshaun Watson over him. Like, I think the Panthers might win 7 games, 8 games, but if Baker plays well, and I think he'll be his average self if he's healthy, he might win comeback player of the year.
You know, the offensive line, which you played for 8 years in the NFL, is a very cohesive unit. And yes, they can certainly protect a quarterback, especially a young one. And I'm watching Pittsburgh, and I know the ceiling of Trubisky, and I know it with Mason Rudolph, okay? I don't know it with Kenny Pickett. If you ask the Steelers offensive linemen privately who they would want to roll with, do you think they'd say, okay, Mitch may be better early, but we know what he is? I don't know. Privately, what do you think those linemen are thinking in Pittsburgh?
Well, the linemen know who the best guy is right now, and it's hard to think out past a year if you're currently playing on a team, right? Like, if you're a current Pittsburgh Steelers offensive lineman, you might think to yourself, well, we know we're getting with Trubisky. It's better now. Mason Rudolph, it's better now. I want to play with that guy because in the moment, he helps us win. He helps me play well this year, where obviously down the road, Kenny Pickett can be that guy. So if you're a lineman on that team, you might know Kenny Pickett's better, but understand there's time for him to work, and he needs kind of a little bit of work. But we need to win now, so we're going to roll with one of the older guys for now until Pickett's ready to play. It's always that dilemma because, again, the front office is looking out for the future. If you're a player, you're really looking out for now. So they might want those veterans to play because they're more ready to start in week 1.
So, obviously, players in this league can improve. Again, offensive line is very technical. So that nobody asks or thinks. Rashawn Slater for the Chargers is an outlier. He's just great.
Yeah.
That's not usually the case. You could go back to your career, your brothers. It usually.
Yeah.
So when you watch Chicago, Justin Fields running for his life, is your takeaway that's bad personnel, or he's new, he's young, he moves, he can be impatient, and this line could get better eventually for him? What did you see?
It's a little bit of both last night. You know, there were some breakdowns up front. There were some breakdowns at running back. There were some breakdowns at tight end. I mean, it was kind of every time, like, here's a breakdown from the running back, right? Just missed. Everyone else is fine, and the running back whiffed. There's a play later in this drive where you're like, here, he's got plenty of room here. He just dips it and runs. Like, he's got a pocket. So it's kind of a combination of everything. I will defend a little bit of the Bears front office here because they didn't draft Justin Fields, right? So when they built their team this offseason, they're looking at just how to build the roster. This roster is not very good. And so if defensive players are the way to go, we're taking those guys first, and we'll worry about kind of helping Justin Fields out later because there's no connection with this front office to Justin Fields. So understand the idea of let's not get wide receivers. Let's not go heavy on offensive line. They also drafted Jenkins, who's playing right guard and, second round last year as well. So they're just not a good football team. Like, I don't think it matters whether the offensive line is good or not. For Fields, they're just not good right now, and they'll grow into that eventually. But I would imagine Fields has a tough year this year.
What do you make? Take me inside the room. You didn't play for the Patriots, but you played, Giants and Chiefs and Vikings and Panthers. You were around, you were in a lot of different coordinators and coaches.
Yeah.
Maybe years ago, 70s, 80s, it was a different league. But it feels like in 2022, giving a defensive coordinator play calling duties, it just the way the league is moving, Jeff, it feels crazy to me. What do you make of it?
It's out of control. Not only that, you just talked about offensive line. Their offensive line coach is either Joe Judge or Matt Patricia. I can't figure out which one it is. And neither of those guys have really coached offensive line. I think Patricia spent 1 year as an offensive line coach 12 years ago in college. Like, I don't get what they're doing. It does not make sense to me. I feel like Belichick, and best coach of all time, and then we all agree on that. But, maybe the arrogance of him in this situation where I can just kind of help the offense and the defense is a big part of this, because I don't know what they're going to do. Like, you have a young quarterback, I should say. You would want to hire, in my opinion, the best staff to try to put around him to get him. Instead, you're getting a former defensive coordinator. You're getting Joe Judge, who is special teams coach. Like, I don't understand the plan here. By the way, you're switching offenses, right? You're running a zone scheme now, and every report from practice is bad. And I get it's training camp and you're going to have up and down days, but we rarely see like good day in training camp for the Patriots offense. And they're trying to be a playoff team. I don't get it. They could have hired an offensive coordinator. Like, people would work for the Patriots, for Belichick, and he just didn't do it. I don't know if it's arrogance or he thinks Patricia can somehow make this happen, or Joe Judge, whoever's going to do it.
Yeah. So there's a team every year. One of the things about the NFL, we view it as unpredictable, but it's kind of predictable. 8 coaches will be fired. Half the teams that made the playoffs won't. Like, it's almost to a rule. If you have the best quarterback in a division, you're going to win it or be a wild card team out of it.
Yes.
So the team, I think, that's going to be the pop team, 8 wins to maybe 13, is Minnesota, for a lot of reasons. Chicago's a mess, and Green Bay won't be as dynamic. That's part of it. The other part is, I do think Zimmer and Kirk Cousins had real fissures in their relationship. And I think quarterbacks flourish when they feel supported. Kirk's been a guy that has shrunk in some big spots. He needs confidence. He doesn't need an agitator above him hovering over him. So I think Kevin O'Connell is going to get a happier and more, I think Kirk is going to flourish and be about as good as Kirk can be. I also think, I'll be honest, he's coming from the McVay system. Again, it's very quarterback friendly.
Yep.
That's my pop team. Do you have one?
Well, I think Minnesota is certainly up there, because you look at the rest of the divisions you mentioned, and I think the quarterback-friendly part of this is important. We've seen this offense, right, work for many different quarterbacks. I mean, Jared Goff had his best seasons in this offense. Cousins is more talented than Jared Goff. He also has a lot of weapons. He has a good offensive line, a good running back. There are players on defense. My pop team, I mean, look, I think Trevor Lawrence is going to be really good this season. I don't know if the rest of the team is going to be really good, but Doug Peterson is a fabulous coach. He got the most out of Carson Wentz.
Yeah.
Got the most out of Nick Foles. Nick Foles threw for 500 yards against the Patriots in a Super Bowl game. So I think, to me, it's Jacksonville. Now, are they going to win 8-9 games? Probably not. But I think we're going to see the biggest jump from year 1 to year 2 of a quarterback right now with Trevor Lawrence, with Doug Peterson.
By the way, I think Jason McIntyre, that was one of his beliefs. Now, Mac doesn't think Tua is going to be good this year. I do. Where do you land on the Tua thing? I think he's going to have a really nice year.
I mean, good. I think he'll be okay in this offense. Again, quarterback-friendly offense, right? You're asking him to throw the ball short and have wide receivers make plays to run the football. They retooled their offensive line. I mean, is he good? I don't think so. Can he be serviceable? Sure. But look, again, if we're ranking AFC quarterbacks, where does Tua rank? Just in the AFC alone, 8, 9, 10. I mean, so like he'll be good in this offense, but is he great? Is he elite? I don't think so.
Geoff Schwartz, Fox Sports. Good seeing you, man.
Same here. Take care.
By the way, there was a comment yesterday by the new Dolphins coach, Mike McDaniel, on Tua. I'll just read you the quote is, "It's the most accurate catchable ball I've ever seen." So, well, whatever. He's a coach. He has a right to say that. Hi, everybody. Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Also, be sure to check out more of the best clips from The Herd, or go watch a few segments from other shows on FS1.